Welcome back to SQL iQuery prompter training. This is section 5 and 6. What we'd like to do now is add some validity checking to this prompt we've been working on. To do that, we're going to use the IBM provided list aggregate function and select all the states in our table as validity checking options. So we insert a select just above our prompt that will create a list and store it in the variable called states. And then we're going to use that down on our display variable statement. So we go over to just before the prompter text for the display variable line, and we insert the keyword values. And then in parentheses, we embed the ampersand states session variable name followed by a comma. And what this will do is at runtime, the variable name states will be validated against the list of values in that session variable called states. So if we go ahead and try and type in Illinois, for example, it says Illinois is not a valid choice for state. If we hit F4, which is built into iQuery, we can see the list of values that are available for that particular field. View them, go ahead and type one in that we like, New York as usual, and then we can get our results. Now what I'd like to do is add a little more pizzazz to the prompt. So to do that, I'd like to insert some additional text on the screen. And also, I'd like the iQuery script to function a little nicer, whereas if the user doesn't type in a state, I'd like it still to work properly. So what we're going to do is add some text here. We're going to say display text state or blank equals asterisk all and put it in parentheses just for fun. And that's going to show up to the right of the state field because there's no specific column or row position specified. Okay, next what I want to do is just scroll up a little bit so we have to make more space, and I want to insert a few lines. Let's go over to the right a little bit here and delete this semicolon at the end of the statement because we want to add a where clause to it. And what we're doing is on the where clause, we're saying where state equals and then the session variable name enclosed in quotes. Typically it's New York in our example. It could be any of the states provided or any other value. And what we're doing is we're saying if is not empty. So if the state variable is not empty, is it blank or is it undefined? If it's either one of those two, it will test for empty and this statement won't be performed. But if it contains a state, it'll then add the where clause to the select statement for you. And the end if statement obviously corresponds to that value. All right, let's get out of here and go ahead and run this. And as we can see by the prompt, we now have the state or blank equals asterisk all to the right of it. If we don't type in anything, we just go ahead and press the enter key. We see all the data in the file because there was no state entered. Let's go back and run it again. And this time, let's put in a state. We'll use New York again. And when we press enter, it runs. So now we can see that by putting the conditional statement in there, we can run it both ways, with a state selection and without.